So here we are halfway through September of 1950, and the North Korean offensive has been halted. This is actually when the Incheon attack would normally happen. All we got left is one unit down here, some garrison. The one unit in the mountains got wiped out down here. Got this guy on the road still. He's pretty much a block because there's not much facing him. And got another garrison here. But then we've got quite a force sitting right around Seoul. And this is a completely different situation because the Incheon landing doesn't make sense anymore in the same sort of way. You don't want to land against a full division. One of the cool things early in the turn, not that early, this poor guy really halted the UN and Allied advance. But one of the cool things that happened fairly early was this guy was able to charge through and overrun the supply depot, which meant all of the North Korean units were out of supply for the turn. Like completely out, because they had no depot whatsoever. So no matter where they are, their defensive strength was halved, their attack strength was quartered. They were pretty much helpless. And some good rolls by the Americans, a lot of air power, and they still have a lot left. Interdictions are still where they were, pretty much. The biggest thing was, though, that the North Koreans got absolutely no supplies to begin with, so they were on very restrictive supply levels to begin with. And then losing them completely made it even worse. So almost all of South Korea has been retaken. There are a couple of cities here with orange markers in them that have not yet. But taking Seoul looks a lot harder. And now comes the question, I got a couple of Marines, I could dump them somewhere, but where? I throw them into Wonsan, and we're courting Chinese intervention. If I throw them up near the Seoul line, well, you can probably win that battle eventually. But it's not going to be quite as impressive as it was originally. Historically, on the other hand, I've cleared up more of the southern area, so maybe that's just as safe. I have to think about it. All right, it's the end of September in 1950, and we haven't seen a lot of movement. I mean, a lot of the UN troops have moved forward towards the Seoul line, which is becoming quite heavily defended by North Koreans at this point. We also have some Marines who landed on that beachhead and moved forward, planning on trying to clear the eastern route of the road. We got some disparate back end units trying to make it up for the attack. Supply is going to be a little annoying for the UN at this point, more annoying than it was historically, because Seoul is a nice, Incheon is I believe, a decent port for them. It is, yeah, I'm not sure where they're going to be pulling from. It's not a great port. Wonsan's a better port for them, so if they can get up to Wonsan, which is one of the reasons why invading it would have been a cool idea, but invading it does allow the Chinese to begin their intervention, and they could do a limited intervention followed by a full intervention whenever they like at that point. Well, as long as the UN's across the border with real troops. So, like I said, this situation all game has been different from what I've seen. We had a global tension increase at the beginning of this turn due to the increase in the mobilization, which cut into the UN victory points. They only got 10 for the turn, 15 minus 5 for the tensions. So, and that minus 5 is there for the rest of the game. And once intervention happens, some pluses to the die rolls, etc., start occurring. So, this may actually put more pressure on the UN than I'm used to seeing. It may be that the North Koreans pulling to the Seoul line is actually a pretty good move. There's definitely a decent amount of luck involved in global tensions and what that affects in the game. But then again, on other things too, like the air intervention role was good this turn and lousy the last turn. So the UN was able to make impressive gains just because of bad supply for the North Koreans. Now that's going to happen eventually. It's just, what turn does it happen? How many points do you gather in that time? I know some people don't like a lot of luck in their games. I love luck in my games, so, it's definitely one of the factors that makes me enjoy this one. All right, on to the next turn.